Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Coming back to the Thisanayagam case, yes, I think our response on the part of the government has been somewhat muddled. Unfortunately,
see, you were in the Ministry of Justice
yes.
before, and you had been handling this type of cases
Yes.
before, so you must be having some insight
Yes.
into what.
Yes, that's right. So the thing is, instead of trying to deny and instead of trying to say no, this is all wrong or whatever, both sides, both journalists and the government, I want to address both sides here. Let's take the freedom of expression first. Actually, when we talk about freedom of speech, it really refers to expression rather than speech. Why is freedom of expression protected? To promote democracy, right? And to strengthen democracy, not for any other reason. And however, freedom of expression does not protect certain things, such as obscenity, for example, or even coming down to clear and present danger. Right? Clear and present danger is never protected by the freedom of expression, even in this country. So, under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, there were certain things for which someone could be prosecuted if their actions are deemed to be, if their acts, okay, not what they intended necessarily, are deemed to be presenting a clear and present danger to the state, all right?
To the national security.
Yeah, to the state, I would say to the state, right? And then, and also, so I'm not really sure, I mean, still the judgment has apparently not been written or published in this case, unfortunately, although the verdict was given. And so I don't know exactly.
No, my point is this: why doesn't the government of Sri Lanka publish that judgment and tell the world exactly as to why he was convicted?
Yeah. The problem is the judge has not yet written the judgment. This is what are you going to publish? And I am also waiting to read that, as a matter of fact. Anyway, having said that, on the journalist part, I want to also address, we can't just take one side here. Of course, journalistic freedom must be protected. But journalists also, if they claim to be professionals, they must act like professionals. Professionals usually discipline themselves, govern themselves. As doctors discipline themselves. Lawyers discipline themselves. So if journalists in this country, they try to discipline themselves, right? And in Sri Lanka, we have a journalist association, but I have never seen them trying to discipline their own. They claim to be professionals. But we have seen enough instances when they act like, not like professionals, but just as rumor mongers, or just attacking character, just slander. Now, slander, libel is not protected under the freedom of expression. They engage in those.
You got some. The viewers, I would like to reintroduce my panel again. His Excellency Ambassador Jaliya Wickremasuriya, who's representing Sri Lanka in Washington, D.C. And here is Professor Hangawatte, who is a criminal justice professor in the local university here in Las Vegas, and they are giving some erudite answers. And I would like to ask the ambassador, Your Excellency, tell us the correct story of these 200,000 odd Tamil refugees in government-run internment camps in northern of Sri Lanka, because there had been a lot of misconceptions about it. Because in this country, in the United States that I lived for 15 years, which I knew for 25, 40 years, Hurricane Katrina is still not over. So how would you describe this and the false propaganda?
First of all, I should correct, those are not the camps, they are welfare centers. In fact, these innocent Tamil civilians were rescued by the government for their own good. They were keeping as human shield by the L.T.T.E for a long period. So we did an operation and we rescued them. And we put them into a village. And so now the government is giving food, medicine, water, everything. And originally we had 287,000 people there. And up to last week we have settled 50,000 people. Another 50,000 people will be settled before the end of September. The main obstacle to settle them is, the delay is the two things. One is the landmines. The areas are heavily mined because Now, these Tamil civilians, before they were taken as hostage by LTTE, they came to their houses and made sure that when they were taken out from the houses, and then the roofs were damaged. They fired at the roofs and they damaged the roofs. And when they took them out, they mined the whole area while they were watching. So then they could not come back to houses, even if they escape from this LTTE and come. And so before we settle them into their original houses, we need to clear the mines and then repair their houses and send them back. But how we have sent 50,000 people is, we have done some research and found out there are some people from Jaffna, some from Mana and other areas which we have already cleared the mines. So, and we asked them whether they would like to go to their relations' places. If they have their houses there, they could go there too. So that's how we got 50,000, and we have selected another 50,000. Also, we have identified another 10,000 people, over 65 people, over 65 years of age. They'll be going to the retirement homes and also for their in-laws and other relations, daughters, sons' places. And we have taken another nearly 800 people and brought them. They were child soldiers of LTTE. We are rehabilitating them in Colombo in the Western Province. There is a center there too. So likewise, we have got another 600 odd the pregnant women. We have taken them and put them into different hospitals. So likewise, altogether 50,000 already gone. Another 50,000 will go before the end of September. And President has put up a plan, 180 days plan, where maximum number of people will be settled within 180 days. I'm sure within next year also, maybe before the end of the year, we can settle everybody like we did in the Eastern Province. Eastern Province, we had 200,000 people. We managed to settle them within 8 months. Eastern Province was a little difficult because we had 3 communities, that Muslims, Sinhalese and Tamils, equal communities. Now the Northern Province, we have only Tamils, so then we feel that it's easy to take decisions and settle them sooner. The United States, Norway, India, Australia and other countries are helping us with clearing of landmines right now. And also there's another problem, because when you try to dig for landmines, we come out of buried weapons. They have buried a lot of weapons. They have put all these dangerous weapons into containers, and they have buried containers, 20-foot containers and 40-foot containers. So we need to clear them. At the same time, there are LTT cadres inside these the centers. So we want to make sure we don't want them to go and start firing, get hold of a weapon and fire at innocent civilians. So that is government responsibility to see that before these people go, they are they are civilians and they are proper people are going. If they are terrorists, we have given them pardon, but we need to make sure we rehabilitate them before we sending them to them.
Mr. Ambassador.